Welcome to our special episode today. What happens when we combine the powers of logic and imagination? How can we take ourselves to new levels of success? In this episode, we will explore the world of logic and imagination and uncover the key to creating extraordinary changes in our lives. Get ready to be inspired and engaged in a conversation that will take you far from point A to point B and beyond. Welcome to the podcast Logic versus Imagination, combining two forces for maximum success. I am your host, and this time I have two special guests ready to share their insights. Let's welcome Liam and Ethan.
Thank you for inviting us. We are delighted to be here.
Yes, we are thrilled to share our thoughts on the importance of combining logic and imagination in achieving success. Thank you for the invitation.
All right, let's dive straight into the topic of discussion. My first question for both of you is, why are logic and imagination so important, and how can we combine them in our lives?
Certainly, logic and imagination are two complementary aspects. Logic helps us in analyzing, problem-solving, and making informed decisions. Meanwhile, imagination enables us to think creatively, see things from new perspectives, and discover unexpected solutions.
Absolutely right, Liam. Combining logic and imagination allows us to think holistically. Logic provides us with a strong foundation and structure, while imagination frees our minds to think beyond conventional boundaries. In this combination, we can achieve intelligent decision-making and remarkable innovation.
Very interesting. Now, what are some concrete examples where logic and imagination work together to achieve remarkable outcomes?
Certainly, there are numerous examples. For instance, in the business world, logic can help analyze market data and develop rational strategies. However, imagination is also crucial in generating unique product ideas and breaking through existing limitations.
I would also like to add an example in the realm of art and creativity. Logic helps in planning solid structures and techniques, while imagination allows us to express new ideas that inspire and captivate the audience.
Truly inspiring. How can we sharpen and develop both aspects simultaneously?
One way is by continuously exercising our minds. We can read books, take courses, or participate in activities that stimulate both aspects. Additionally, we can sharpen logic through puzzles or brain games, while imagination can be developed through activities such as writing, playing music, or drawing.
Absolutely right, Ethan. Furthermore, collaboration is also key to better combining logic and imagination. By interacting with people who have different perspectives and approaches, we can learn from one another and see how logic and imagination can work synergistically.
Absolutely agree, Liam. Collaboration allows us to combine our strengths and create better solutions. In diverse teams, we can inspire each other, provide different inputs, and push one another to think beyond the limits we are familiar with.
That's great advice. Now, are there any challenges we might face when trying to combine logic and imagination? How can we overcome them?
One of the main challenges is the tendency to separate logic and imagination as separate entities, perceiving them as conflicting. The way to overcome this is by realizing that they complement and reinforce each other. We need to understand that logic without imagination can be rigid and limited, while imagination without logic can be unfocused and unrealistic. By acknowledging the importance of both, we can integrate logic and imagination in every stage of thinking and decision-making.
I agree, Ethan. Another challenge is finding the balance between logic and imagination. Sometimes, we tend to become too fixated on logic, or on the contrary, too carried away by imagination. To overcome this, it's important to develop self-awareness and reflection. We need to recognize our own thinking patterns and ensure that we create space for both aspects to grow in a balanced manner.
All right, thank you for those valuable insights. Before we conclude this conversation, do you have any final message for the listeners?
Certainly. I would like to say to the listeners that logic and imagination are not two things that should be separated. When we combine them wisely, we will discover incredible power in achieving success and facing challenges in our lives.
I agree, Ethan. So, don't be afraid to harness sharp logic and limitless imagination. Be someone who dares to think beyond existing boundaries and prove that by combining logic and imagination, we can achieve extraordinary things.
Absolutely amazing! Thank you, Ethan and Liam, for these inspiring insights. Before we conclude this episode, do you have any final advice or tips for the listeners on combining logic and imagination?
Certainly. I would like to say to the listeners to always be open to new ideas and have the courage to think beyond existing boundaries. Don't be afraid to combine logic and imagination in all aspects of your life, whether it's in your work, creativity, or decision-making. Don't let conventional limitations hinder your ability to innovate and achieve higher goals.
Absolutely right, Ethan. Additionally, don't forget that the development of logic and imagination requires practice and time. Be patient with yourself and keep learning. There may be obstacles and failures along the way, but don't let them dampen your spirits. Keep finding ways to sharpen both aspects and continue to create the right balance between logic and imagination.
A very valuable message indeed. Thank you, Ethan and Liam, for your time and for sharing these inspiring insights with us and the listeners. May our conversation today serve as a stepping stone for them to combine logic and imagination in their efforts to achieve success and fulfillment in life. See you in the next episode.